people don't know how to promote a wine list, and like all restaurants have a wine list, but like I don't even think restaurants really know why they need a wine list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm there, dude. I don't know.
yeah. Like, why do you think that's a default for like restaurants
to not know,
or just like to be like, oh, I guess we need a wine list? Like,
I think it's like just like another aspect of cooking, and especially like if you don't have a good GM or like a good som or beverage director, like the chef like sometimes knows a lot about wine, but like I would say a lot of times they're probably more focused on the food.
Well, totally. I mean, a lot of restaurants, especially like independent restaurants, are chef owned and operated, so it's like a secondary thought. But like, I don't know. I guess like restaurants and wine, maybe just because like restaurant is French in origin is like my theory, and it's just like, oh, you just have a wine cellar, and it's like not really, not anymore at least. But like when restaurants, like the original restaurant concept was happening in Europe, it's like, oh, everyone drinks wine.
Yeah.
And then it just been copied and pasted, and it's like, do we need this?
Yeah, I guess we don't really have that much history compared to like the French and stuff. Maybe more so in California it's like established. But yeah, I think people just view it as kind of like a high society thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, especially like if I were to dine out with like my aunt and uncle, they're like in the burbs and stuff. It's like, they don't
The burbs here in Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know
like
that.
Lake Villa, Round Lake.
Okay.
Yeah, northwest suburbs, so I like Gurnee.
Okay, got it.
It's just like, there's so many people. Like, there are a lot of like diners, like interested diners here in Chicago, but there's so much more like normal people, you know, who like don't dine out, who don't know what shared plates are and things like that. And like, they're just like, wow, this is like really expensive or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've worked at a lot of different kinds of restaurants, and I mean, like, especially in Chicago, it's people coming from East Lansing, Michigan, and like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and like smaller towns even, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like people, we live in cities or we live in atmospheres where we really like think about it and talk about it and be about it all the time.
Yeah.
And then we forget sometimes.
In Memphis, there was a restaurant called Dory. He's Chef Dave's become like a good friend of mine. But first tasting menu only restaurant in Memphis. They opened, I think, 3 years ago.
Okay.
They quickly, like maybe a year and a half in, they kind of had to like shift from tasting menu only to like no tasting, like at the bar, like they would do it for like 4 seats, but became a la carte, and then just they closed recently, sadly. But it's just like we don't have the diners like there are in Chicago. You know, people want to eat like fried chicken and like Jimmy John's and stuff, which is awesome. I love eating that stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
I mean, how long have you lived in Memphis for?
3-4 years almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you say fried chicken and Jimmy John's, but like...
More so fried chicken.
Yeah.
People think like barbecue.
Sure.
Either way, it's like, it's not great. There is one awesome restaurant group. I don't remember the name, but it's like Hog and Hominy, Andrew Michael's Italian Kitchen. They're like James Beard nominated chefs. Cool. Food's like fantastic and stuff, but it's very much like their super nicer restaurants are all Italian. And then, which is people get like Italian food, you know. And then their other place, Hog and Hominy, which I like a lot. It's just like elevated Southern food. Yeah. So they do like buffalo pig's ears. Super awesome, dude. Yeah, like a lot of farm to table stuff. But yeah, it's just people need to like work their way up. To stuff, and like, do they need to? Like, it's fine, like eating Jimmy John's and whatever. Like my favorite restaurant in Memphis is probably Texas Day Brazil. Familiar? Yeah.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, I love that place. It's super fun, and it's just like, food's good.
You know, I've actually never eaten at one, but how is it different than like Fogo de Chao?
It's the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's exactly.
You have the coin you flip over, or the thing you flip over.
And there's like a buffet, right?
Yeah.
Like a salad bar buffet that's like very nice.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this stuff rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. You let's see, you go during lunch, it's like they might not have like ribeye and lamb chops, but they'll have everything else, and maybe like $30 for all you can eat. That's like pretty premium all you can eat, you know. Sure. It's like a higher tier than like a Cheesecake Factory would be, you know. And it's super fun.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, you travel a lot, you live in Memphis, and I was thinking about like, you know a lot of people because just in your sphere, I'm sure you meet people, you know, through YouTube or social media. That's how we met. We met in person for the first time yesterday, which is hilarious.
That is super fun.
We've been talking online for, I'm gonna say like 2 years now. But when you go to a new place or a new city and you like want to find something to eat, and you're like, maybe I don't want to go to a chain. Maybe I don't want to go to Texas to Brazil or Fogo de Chão. Like, how do you decide what restaurant to eat at?
Oh, I wouldn't say I waste time. I spend way too much time just like Googling. Usually it's cross-referencing lists. Like Eater is a big one.
Got it.
Bon Appetit usually will have a list. I like Reddit a lot because like I like seeing like
You use
normal
Reddit?
people like talking like, you know, let's see. Because a lot of like Eater stuff like that, they'll promote newer restaurants or like exciting restaurants. Whereas like if you've been around for too long, like unless you're a place like Lula that's like kind of legendary, like you're not gonna like get like your restaurant might be super busy and stuff, but like the news, like they're not gonna cover you anymore unless you're doing like something interesting.
Sure, or your legacy. Or...
Yeah, so I'll cross-reference like all of these lists, and then I'll just ask people like who live in the city, like, hey, like what are your like go-to spots? So I reached out to a friend of mine in Phoenix. His name's Daniel. I don't know his like full thing, but you've probably seen his content. He's the guy who like he like rolls up a blunt and I forget his catchphrase. It's just like let's vibe or something, or like he plays some sort of vinyl and he's just like cooking. He lives in Phoenix and they have awesome food scene, awesome hospitality there.
I've heard. I haven't been. I've heard.
And
awesome
I was like, so we ate at like Pizzeria Bianco was awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Lovely vibes, dude. Like the restaurant's just gorgeous. And then a couple like other like very casual places, but dude, there's so much good like to us it's like casual cuisine, which is really funny when I like talk to like chefs. I'm just like, oh, like Lula is like slightly above casual, which is hilarious because it's very like very deeply thought through. It's like farm to table. It's not like super duper cheap. It's very like very intentional, thoughtful, delicious food.
Totally. And I think, you know, a place like Lula is pretty unique too. It's been around for 25 years. And before it was Lula, it was a place called Logan Beach, which was a cafe. And they served, you know, this was 1990, you know, it was the 90s when this place was open. And it was serving kind of like this, I don't know what else to call it except for kind of like vegetarian health, like kind of like hippie food, honestly, but like just like appropriated other like foods. And like, we have dishes like a tagine, which is like, like veggie forward, healthy, and like turmeric and things like that. And some of those things kind of stuck around, but like this place was pretty punk rock. Like people who went there were like chain smoking cigarettes. They had like an open mic night and things like that. And just like that vibe was always there. And it was always for like kind of like cool kids or a bunch of like weirdos, which I would argue, I mean, I work there now. Like it's a lot of people who I think of hospitality. Those are the people I want to hang out with. Yeah. Like
the Bushwick, like old Williamsburg, like of Chicago.
And then of 2024. Right. Just like people who are artists or people who are trying to do something else while working in a restaurant. Some people there work there a long time and that's super cool too. So you have a nice like eclectic group of people. But the history of that place has always been there. I'm just being like, we've always been making this kind of food and like serving this kind of community. And like, Jason has really just like upped the level of like cuisine on it.
Because that's what he was. He was like an artist, right? Before like
he was a writer.
Opened. Yeah, before
so when he did that cookbook, like
he wrote with someone super famous. Who was it? Like
he wrote for someone famous?
Well, I think he was roommates with someone super famous.
Oh, I don't know.
Man, I forget.
Maybe it's in his book.
David Foster Wallace, is that it?
Oh, maybe because
I think so.
I think he
something
did,
super crazy.
I think the forward for his. I'm looking because it's on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
But I think he did the forward for that book, or
That's
like gave like a little blurb on it, or maybe he did mention it. But yeah, maybe it was. I think you're right.
Because it's awesome seeing people who like don't have like who haven't like been in the restaurant industry forever, because they bring like a fresh new perspective and like it's kind of like a zero principle thing. It's like they don't really know like how it's supposed to be done, which can be like refreshing. A lot of it can be bad for sure, but like so much of it can be awesome. It's just like it brings like a new unique perspective and makes you like automatically different from everyone else, which is just super cool.
For sure. And you're in town. I mean, why are you in town?
Hanging out with family and then just staging around a lot. So many restaurants all the time. So many chefs that like I wish I'd worked for a little bit. Like Kyle Cottle at Sepia. He used to run Blackbird with Ryan Pfeiffer a lot, and it's like, man, I wish I worked at Blackbird back in the day. I staged there. Super awesome. Sepia's awesome. Kyle's one of the coolest dudes like I've ever met. He's just like super passionate about food, but he's so down to earth. Yeah. He's just so cool. You could talk to him about like anything.
Yeah, he's just like you, so I bet you guys get along super well. He's
a cooler, way more like talented version of me, dude. He's a savage, and his team is awesome too. Yeah. I never worked for any of like the publican restaurants, but I'm friends with Chef Jacob Savin. He's at Coda Vi Volpe. I think that's how it's pronounced. They're doing super cool stuff there. We just broke down a whole hog. Well, he broke it down. He was showing me.
I saw that.
He did
that was super cool.
So fast.
How big? Dude. I mean, I bet. I mean, and how big was it?
250 pounds. Man. So like they cut it in half already. They split it already. So 125 each. Yeah. Which is still like pretty heavy.
That's plenty.
Because like they have to bring it down to the basement, and it's just like, ooh.
It's a lot of work.
That's a big boy, but it's like he used to run Publican. He's an OG in the Chicago sphere, so it's like awesome to like work with someone like that, because Publican would have been an awesome like restaurant to work for. I feel like Publican or Avec. So many restaurants. Did Chef Special. That place is awesome. Yeah. One, the food is phenomenal, and two, the vibes are just awesome. Yeah. Chef Aaron there. He opened the place. I'm pretty sure he's like a partner, and he's just so cool, so nice, so knowledgeable, and like everyone in the restaurant is like, he's like the nicest person here. Yeah. Like, it's awesome. And their operation's so dope, dude. Because they do so much to go. Yeah. But the food is like, it's still American Chinese food, but it's very like elevated. You know? So it's like the best American Chinese you'll get in like the city. Oh, yeah. And they do so much to go. Like I bet. Hundreds of orders. Like, it's got to be like 100 to 200 orders. Yeah. Yeah, like per day.
It's interesting.
That's crazy.
I bet there's restaurants that have a higher percentage of like takeout orders. You know, I imagine like pizza restaurants are like that. I imagine Chinese restaurants are like that, where it's like maybe not a ton of people eat inside. But a Chef Special, that's like a place to hang for sure. Oh,
that place is so cool. Yeah, I tell people go there and Haisu. Both awesome. Dude. Such good restaurants. And it's like different from like the typical like Euro French like focused farm to table. Yeah, it's just like, dude, these flavors rule. Like, why doesn't everyone cook with like mushroom powder and lemongrass and like tropical fruits? It's like, dude, like this should be on everyone's menu. It's so good. So much of it's like pretty accessible.
For sure.
Chicago's probably, it's got to be my favorite. I'm biased, but like, especially after I left and came back, I was like, dude, Chicago food scene rules, dude. Like it's got to be the tightest knit community here. Like everyone's friends with everybody. Yeah. And I feel like it's super supportive. And dude, the talent here is insane. Totally. Yeah. I love Chicago.
Number one food city in the U.S., would you say?
Let's see. I think it's probably better than New York. Ooh, maybe. I mean, New York's got a lot of like the higher end Michelin star places, and they probably are like the front runners in terms of like making like influencing the dining atmosphere. So like we talked about Four Horsemen. That's like Nick Curtola's restaurant. That's like every chef's favorite restaurant in New York, and it's just like, I think that's what like modern fine dining is. They have a star, but they're not like pretentious. Like they're all very like super smart people. Service is phenomenal. Food is great. Some of the best wines I've ever had there. And I'm not even like a big wine head, but like I've drinking enough to be like, oh, this is like epic. This is awesome. Yeah. And whereas like maybe a 1-star here is still very like, especially on the service end, like still very formal, you know, which is cool. But I think if I had to choose LA,
Really? LA?
LA food scene's so good. And they have better Asian food, just like collectively. Like we have an okay Chinatown here. Chinatown in New York's awesome. But LA's got the biggest Chinatown, San Gabriel Valley. They have epic Thai town, epic Koreatown, best Mexican food, probably, maybe. Like I've heard.
Chicago's pretty close too.
Yeah, Chicago has such good food. Shout out so many places, dude.
So many.
Shout out Zaragoza.
Zaragoza.
Oh my God, dude. My mind was, I've eaten there like multiple times, but dude, like my mind was blown by the food, and it's just a lovely restaurant.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's the OG location. It's just a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Like Jonathan's dad's there. John Sr.?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Yeah.
I think his name's also John.
He's super awesome. The servers are all like really sweet.
Yeah.
It's like 10 seats inside.
Totally.
Super casual, but it's just like the food is so on point.
The food rules.
It's so
for sure.
good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan too. And yeah, I've eaten there in the Southside location and now in the new Uptown location, and they're both super good.
So good. Don Pedro's, the carnitas place, I like them. Carnitas Urupan rules. It's so cheap too. It's so crazy.
It's almost a crime. Like
it's almost a crime.
Yeah. I mean,
$15 platter gets you so much food, and then like 4 different cuts, maybe like even 6 like different cuts of carnitas.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is epic, dude.
For sure. And I mean, you're such a hype man, and that's why I like you so much. Like you were always so fucking excited, especially when it comes to food. Food is
people
awesome.
are awesome too. Yeah.
I agree. People are awesome. Food is awesome. The whole restaurant scene is awesome. But like, I don't know. Like your stage, you work YouTube full time. That is your full time job, correct? You don't work in a restaurant right now.
3 years now. Yep. Been full time 3 years now,
so
which is awesome.
That is awesome.
Super blessed.
I mean, do you like the balance now? Like you go out and do stages like for fun. Like you're not even making content right now.
This is the longest I've done like a stage. So I've been away from home. I think it'll be like a total of like 10 days. And if I was here, I would just be eating and filming. But I can like stage and also like go to Loaf Lounge in the morning or go to like Ludlow's after work or something. But I like being in the kitchen, learning from chefs who have 3 times more experience than I do. You know?
Sure.
Because it's like, to even get like decent at cooking, you kind of need like 10 years. You know,
Yeah,
you can be a very good line cook like very quickly, but in the context of that restaurant. But to be able to like go to any place and like be a good like chef, you know, like a pretty well-rounded chef, takes at least 10 years of like dedicated work, you know. And then like you can go work for like a David Posey or an Andrew Zimmerman. Those dudes have 30 years of experience, like maybe even more, you know. And those dudes, it's just awesome. I like restaurants a lot too, so I like seeing service and systems and how people organize things like that, because I'm a very like messy person at home. Yeah, which is, it's my house, it's fine, you know.
Fine,
but like you can't, like I can't do that at work. But
No,
I just love seeing like top restaurants. I think Elska's like one of the best restaurants in like the US. They're so interesting. Like I would say they're like a very good version of like a modern like Michelin star restaurant, modern fine dining restaurant. Like food is super exciting, service is great. It's a hard line to draw of being casual and also, you know, like trying to have a neighborhood thing and also be a fine dining thing is not something people do easily. And I think they do a nice job with it. Yeah, sure. I think they're definitely one of the best, like 1 stars. Yeah. Easily. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You obviously make your money doing YouTube, but like, would you ever leave it to work in a kitchen again? Or do you like this balance that you have of like, you know, make content, but then I get to do this and I get to like bop around.
I'm very spoiled with like my life balance now.
Yeah, for sure.
I get to work when I want. I get to sleep when I want. And it's kind of just like the way I like to work anyways, especially with like cooking itself, super fun. I could cook on the line for like 12 hours straight, you know, like I'd take poop breaks or whatever, like drink coffee, things like that. But like the adrenaline rush you get is insane. Whereas you probably experience this when it comes to like mental stuff, you can get in a flow, but it's so much harder and it takes like so much more out of you. So I like to kind of work in blocks, like maybe like I'll like organize right before I go to bed, and then in the morning I kind of just like go into it, maybe work like 2 to 6 hours, and then I'll take a nap, and then I'm feeling like refreshed, and then do that and get to work from home. That's crazy privilege.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just so many advantages that I have.
Especially in restaurant work, it's just like, no, you can't really, I don't know, maybe on the back of house side, like the cush job is the private chef, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, your job is even cushier than that. It's like,
I'm super spoiled. Anyone who does this is so lucky, and you have to count your blessings, man.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I watched a video of yours recently where it was some streamer, maybe Hassan Pike or somebody.
That dude's a goofball,
yeah,
man.
he's a goober.
Yeah.
He's a goober. Yeah, and he's like, dude, this like, streaming is hard, this job is hard, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I guess streaming and making YouTube videos are two different things, and I can't speak for streaming.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I worked as a nurse, I worked in restaurants, and like, I'm not doing content full time like you do, but like, you said, and I can't agree more. It's just like, dude, this is like one of the best jobs you can have.
It's
like,
crazy.
if you can make it work, like, it's incredible.
It's
and
awesome.
like, you've worked lots of different kinds of jobs, not even just restaurants.
Yeah. And that all is super helpful for like perspective, and be like,
totally,
dude, like working, especially like, dude, fast food, be nice to those people. They are working one of the shittiest jobs, probably getting paid like sub $10 an hour, especially like where I live. They're still, I think minimum wage is like still $8.25, which is,
that's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's 15 in
that's
Illinois now,
that's like
still.
$20 and like $20,000 a year or
It's
something.
crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, unlivable.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just be nice to them. They're dealing with like so many like bad customers. Like, most people are cool, but like, if you have like 3 bad experiences in a day, like that's pretty awful, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, dude.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just gassed up your job, and I agree. It's a sick job. But like, what are the cons? Like, what are things that you wish, like, what is the hardest part? Just the consistency of like putting something out every single day?
You very much have to be consistent. My main platform is YouTube. So you're very much rewarded for how much content you push out. So right now I do a video every other day to kind of like stay in the algorithm. But recently I took like 10 days off. I like hurt my back. And this isn't like the first time I've not posted for a while, so I kind of like know the game. But yeah, immediately my views are like tanking, but I know it's gonna be all right. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So once I came back,
you can get it back up. Right?
Yeah. But it takes a minute. You have to like post every single day for a very long time, and then you'll notice like it'll just like jump up like that again, and then you kind of want to like stay consistent. Yeah. So it's like. I don't know. All of it's kind of fun. You have to constantly be coming up with like good video ideas. You can't just be pumping out like crap. You can. And some videos are lower lift than others, like tasting snacks or reaction videos. People love those. Yeah. And I've kind of like dialed in a lot of my videos where none of them take a very long time to make. And like the stuff that I have done, I've done like 100-layer lasagna and way more in-depth videos. They're just not worth it. Yeah, it's just it's so much better to just like cook a steak, and like talking about like why reverse searing in your house is like one of the best ways to cook a steak, or an example of that. And it's just like so much lower lift. But
yeah, and I mean, you've made a variation of that. I have videos like that too, where it's like, this topic does well in this way, or this piece of information is valuable, and it just needs to be presented 10 different ways, but it does well every time.
100%.
Like, do you get sick of making videos like that though, where you're like, dude, I already did a video about this?
Kind of, a little bit, but then I'll take a break and do something. But it's just like a restaurant. You got to have like your bread and butter thing, whether it's like the item that makes a lot of money or the item that is just like a classic everyone orders. That way you can do the more fun stuff.
You can play around, and if it gets lower views,
that in itself is like, especially from like a YouTube perspective, that's a privilege that I get to do like stuff that like is a bit more selfish, because ideally you want like product market fit. You want to like make the content that people want,
For sure.
And I'm cool with that, dude. I'll make steak videos, fried chicken videos, like forever, and it pays the bills, dude. Yeah, and 100%. It's just like, what's there to complain about, man? Yeah.
Well, speaking of snacks, let's rate some snacks. You brought 2 things. What'd you bring?
Yeah, I've never had them, so they might not be good.
We're gonna find out.
We'll see. I always have like a bunch of like snacks.
Yeah, this little dinamita stick situation. Never seen that.
I think it's like their version. No. I was going to say, I think it's their version of Takis, but it looks more like just...
They look like airy. They look like
yeah.
All right, open those up. And then the Doritos Flamas, you know. We'll see. We'll see.
I got gum in my mouth, so we'll see. These are interesting. Yeah, they look kind of like hot fries.
Oh, yeah, let me see them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Andy caps, bro. That's old school.
What do they smell like? Human.
I have a bad palate.
Really? Come on, chef.
Well, picking stuff out, I know if it's like good or not, fair. Needs more salt, but like I don't have a wine palate.
Yeah, it does smell like powdered cheese, though. It does smell like the Kraft mac and cheese box.
It's got jalapeno vibes to it.
That's true.
Makes sense.
That's
Smoky chili queso.
Smoky chili. All right. It's exactly as described.
Yeah.
Smoky. Chili queso.
It's got whatever citric acid. It's got a nice tang to it. It
does have that citric acid tang to it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's rate them because I think it's silly. Out of 10, what would you give it?
Hold up. You rate them. Let me eat another one.
Got to think about it.
I like the texture.
I do too, actually. Yeah, but they are like the
7 out of 10. Yeah. 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, they're solid.
6.5. I've just never had anything that texture. I don't usually like eat things of that, but I do like it. I'm going to give it an 8.0.
Yeah.
I really like it.
It's solid. I'll give it a 7. Yeah.
All right. I like it.
And that's like a conservative one because like if like Cool Ranch Doritos are like a 10, like this would be like
Is that
a
the
7.
litmus test? Is like the best one of all time is Cool Ranch Doritos?
Cool. Man, Aldi's has some awesome chips sometimes. So the best, they might still be, they're seasonal. They might still have them. They have a spicy dill like ridge chip, spicy dill pickle, and then an all dressed, and those are like 11 out of 10.
The all dressed, is that the Canadian thing?
Yeah.
What is that even? I don't even know.
So it's just barbecue mixed with salt and vinegar.
Oh, that's it.
So it's like sweet, salty. And like acidic. Yeah.
I would think I'd like that.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan. Those are like 2 of my favorite chips combined, and it's done really well.
And
but Aldi's.
Aldi's, man. You know, I don't know why it has like a hot meter on it, and there's 3 indicators. It's medium, hot, and extra hot, and they're putting this at medium, and I actually think that's right. Like I feel it, but I think some people would think that these are really spicy.
I could see that, yeah.
Not you and me, maybe, but like I think about like at Lula, it's like there's no spice in anything. There's like people are scared.
Really?
Of it. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I think it just depends.
Yeah,
on
I don't know.
the
1 to 10 scale, I'd give it like a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not there. Spicy.
Totally,
yeah.
I agree. All right, but let's try these flamas.
Ooh,
look at that.
These chili lime flavor. I'm not a fan of that combo. Like Takis are objectively great chips, but like Tajín, I don't like Tajín.
Why not?
I think it's just whatever that like generic chili powder is.
Yeah,
like I'm not a fan of it.
It just doesn't really.
But I love chilies.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Like
sure.
I love like ancho, chipotle. They're like god tier ingredients. Yeah. We'll see.
All right.
I do love Doritos.
The citric acid thing, really.
Not as much as Takis. Takis are insane. Like they have an insane amount of like citric acid MSG.
Yeah, those like make my mouth water in like a crazy way. These kind of do too.
Yeah.
I feel like they're the same spice level as these Dina Vita sticks, though. Those are the ones we just tried. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these. And the red 40 is like really red 40-ing, you know?
Super. I like colors. Like, you know, food dyes bad and stuff, but I love like neon colors and things like that.
People, you know, eat with their eyes first, right? I don't know. What are you putting these at?
6 out of 10. Yeah.
I want something more from it. It really just does taste like citric acid and then the flaming hot Cheeto dust.
Yeah. Are you a big coffee person? You could try that. Yeah.
All right.
From Dark Matter. Shout out Dark Matter. Bro.
I know. Kai brought me all these gifts. It's awesome. I know the Doritos. I'm gonna give it a 3. Not my first choice, but these little sticks, I will be eating those later.
Oh yeah.
And then Dark Matter. They're a local coffee company, not sponsored.
I love Dark Matter. It's so dope. All their shops are just super cool.
The art on this is really cool.
All their cans are like awesome.
Competition orange. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I guess it's a limited run. I was like, cool, I'll try it, dude. I like their little cans.
I do too. The cans are cute.
Coffee, we're so spoiled with coffee here.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Did you want a little? Do you want me to grab you a glass?
I'm okay. No, all you. I already had my latte of the day.
Did you get it at Dark Matter?
No, I forget where else we went to. We went to someplace closer, but I mean, Metric is awesome. Yeah. I also drink, a big thing is like, I drink lattes. Yeah. So like flavored lattes usually, there's an acronym for iced vanilla latte. Iced? IVLs. IVL. Have you heard that term before?
No. Do you order it like that though? Like
100%. Whatever like their seasonal thing is. Like I love iced mochas, but I think iced vanilla like does the coffee a little bit more justice. But yeah, it's like, you know, I'm not drinking black coffee. Yeah. I drink it with cream and sugar. Sure. So way more forgiving than like
just rocket fuel like this is. This is really good, but yeah.
Is it awesome?
It's really nice.
That's awesome.
And I don't know if this is just like my brain being like, yeah, it kind of does taste like oranges because it's called orange, you know? But like there is something like zesty and citrusy.
We just had some was it like a raspberry cold brew, and I was like, I love raspberries. Yeah. I was just like, I'm with it. Counterculture used to make this like I guess it was just like a vintage one. It was like a blueberry flavored, I think the tasting notes were blueberry, but it was like blueberry flavored, like punch you in your face like blueberry. Whoa, yeah. Oh my God, dude, that was so good. I can't find it anywhere though. Yeah. But
you'd have to go to Maine or something where they do all that sort of.
The lattes add up, but it's one of my favorite. Like I like the experience of like getting up, going to a coffee shop, especially if you can walk to a coffee shop.
It's a dream.
Oh my God. If it's like 5 minutes away, like that's like my favorite thing to do in the morning.
Do you have that in Memphis? Like, is there a coffee shop you walk to in Memphis?
No, I just get like beans from beans.com, and then I just make cold brew. I just grind them up. I get whole beans, grind them up, soak them in like cold lukewarm water for like roughly like 20 hours, like give or take, not too fussy about it, and then strain it. That's it. Drink it with usually I'll drink it with oat milk, but sometimes I drink it with like heavy cream and stuff too. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, I think an $18 bag of coffee or like a $16 bag of coffee will make like a gallon of cold brew. Yeah. Something like that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good deal.
And it's basically like, I just batch make it a gallon like all at once. Yeah. But I'll go to like coffee shops too. I kind of have to go like, if I go downtown Memphis, that's like 35 minutes. That's super far. But the nearest like a good coffee shop, I mean, is still like 15, 20 minutes away. Sometimes I'll take my dogs for like a ride, but usually I'll save my like latte money for like when I come to the city.
That's fair. I mean, and that's so standard for so many American cities too. Like, we live in our nice little bubble here in Chicago where it's like we have so many nice things and like have access to all the time. And
perspective, you know, just like, and I'm okay. Like that's the way I grew up, you know. It's just like I didn't go get lattes and stuff. I don't think I started drinking coffee till I was like 18. Yeah, and then it was just like I like the flavor a lot, so it's just like a game changer. Dude. Yeah, it was just Folgers with Coffee Mate. Yeah, I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Yeah, I was like, this hits the spot, dude. The French vanilla.
Well, I'm thinking about like all these coffee drinks and snacks we're eating, and like I don't know. You go to Japan a decent amount, right?
I've only been. Let's see. The first time I went back, I really only stayed with my mom who lives in a super like country town in Aomori Prefecture. So there's not really much to do, but it's still like nice culture shock. But the last time I was in Tokyo there for like 3 weeks or a month, but mostly Tokyo, Kyoto was awesome, and then a little bit of Osaka as well. Nice. And then there I was like eating a ton, gaining a ton of weight. It was awesome. Yeah.
Well, you got to see what's up, right?
Obviously. Yeah. There's so much to explore. It's so crazy.
What was the biggest culture shock from being like US and Japan that you noticed?
It's a good question. I don't know. People are just so much nicer there. Yeah, it's very polite. I know people like to say like they're bottling it in or something, but I think they just have like a good predisposition of just being like it. I think it's a big like East versus West thing. Like they care a lot about other people a lot. So like they're not going to say stuff that like upsets you just because they're like, just because they can, you know? Whereas like here we're very, we do that, you know? And it's just like, I like Japan's way a lot better. It's not perfect, but I think like, you know, if it was like 1 America, like 10 Japan, it would be like an 8 or like a 9, you know? It's like, it's way over there, especially service. Like you go to like a convenience store, which are huge. Service is awesome. Service is phenomenal, dude. Like if you're looking for something, they'll stop what they're doing, like help you out and stuff. And it's good. The one thing that did shock me, Tokyo is very cheap compared to like what you would think. A lot of it is the yen rate, but just baseline, it's very cheap compared to like, you know, because you're comparing Tokyo to like LA and New York. It's got to be like 3 times cheaper than New York.
Yeah, I mean, even taking into account like salary range and things like that too.
100%.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So like as an American with US dollars, like you're very like spoiled and privileged, like going to Japan because you're just like, dude, what the heck? Like, let's see, we'll do like a Michelin star dinner. Like I would say like if you're eating what's like Kasama? How many courses? Like 10, 12,
10,
14?
12, I think.
Yeah. It's like 250 without any taxes and fees, right?
It's about right.
Yeah. You could get that in Japan. Obviously, like not the same food, but like same courses and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe $100. Yeah.
Wow, really?
And no tipping. Yeah. No tipping. I assume less taxes and stuff too. Yeah. So trying to like save up, not eat too many places here in America, and then saving up money for hopefully like I can go to Mexico City this year.
Oh, cool.
And then back to Japan, and it's just like, yeah, your money goes so much farther. America's just expensive. Yeah. America's just very expensive.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up Kasama too, because we had Muhammad on here, and we were talking. He also brought up Kasama. He lives right by it. He's like,
nice.
He's like, what's that Filipino spot that people line up? He like didn't remember the name of it, which I think, you know, love that guy. But it's just funny.
I went there right when they opened because like I don't know why they weren't busy right away, because both Tim and Jeannie are very famous like locally. You know?
Yeah, they both worked at
Oreo, and they were like big deals there. They were like, I don't know if they were co-owners, but he was like the head chef more or less.
Yeah.
And like executive like pastry chef. So they were like very famous. And yeah, luckily I got to go there a bunch before like all the awards and stuff. I think this was during COVID too.
I think they opened right before COVID.
Yeah.
And then got, murked during COVID.
Yeah.
And then I don't really know when the culture changed of them being like, the food was like always good, you know.
Yeah,
it's like
food's
I don't know
awesome.
when the switch flipped.
I feel like all the press came at once because the bear was a huge thing.
But was that the thing? Was that the catalyst?
I think they were just winning a bunch of awards for like they won a Michelin star.
Yeah.
And I think they're the first Filipino Michelin star
in the world.
In the world, right?
Pretty
crazy. which is like also great. I
Yeah.
think they were like nominated and winning like every single award, which like good for them, you know. Awesome,
yeah, 100%.
Awesome story, and the food's fantastic,
The food's
dude.
great. Yeah.
The pastries are great, but now I hear it's like super busy. But
It is.
Apparently, you can get stuff to go.
Yes,
And
that's
that's the move.
That's
Yeah.
the move for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, it's just
And breakfast sandwiches, man, it's a
Yeah.
big thing here now,
I
right?
know.
Yeah,
Love it. Yeah.
I go to Loaf Lounge a lot. Super great bread, but
Yeah.
it's like that's what I like to eat. The value of it's so high.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, they have such a good oatmeal cream pie cookie
Dude,
there.
I had it. It
Oh
was
my
super
God.
good. Yeah.
So good, so
So
salty.
good. Yeah.
Like, oh, it's
It's
awesome.
very chefy in that like it's all kind of turned up to 11.
Yeah.
Like all the flavors are balanced, but it is like a high fat, high salt, high
100%. That's
like,
the
you
way I
ca-
like to eat. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like sometimes I have to kind of be in the mood for it sometimes.
Sure.
It's like,
yeah. It's very indulgent.
It is
Yeah,
indulgent.
yeah.
It's a good way to put
That's
it.
the way I like to eat food.
Yeah.
Like I think for the masses, it's like, you know, do you really want food? Like you have to think about, and like if I have to be like explained why this is good, it's probably not that good, you know? Yeah.
Generally, people don't want to be told how to eat.
Yeah.
You know, I think people just are attracted.
I know on the higher level, it's like, oh, like that food's lame because it's just high fat, high acid, like high salt, and it's just like, it's awesome, dude. Yeah. It's like, that's like the God criteria, you know? It's like 9 out of 10 right there. Does it really need to be like elevated more than that? But that being said, Low Flounge, like their bread's awesome. Bread is very hard to make.
Totally. Yeah. You can tell every individual piece. Like the breakfast sandwich I had there was like the English muffin with the sausage. And it's like, you can tell the sausage is made in house. And there's like whole fennel seeds in it. And you're like, this is like really awesome. Yeah. The bread's really good. And then, it's just like, it's American cheese, which is like, you don't need to mess with that. Like they know what to mess with and what not to mess with. And just like really execute. And
they do great hash browns, McDonald's style.
I haven't had them, but
dude, they're so good. Yeah,
it's fun.
But it's like, that's awesome. Kasama's breakfast is awesome. Haven't been to Lardon yet, but like they have a bunch of breakfast and lunch, and it's just like, it's just what I want to eat. I don't want to spend like $120 per like dinner, like every single time. It's like, I want to eat something that's like maybe low risk. Yeah. It's like, it's just like if I pay $15 for a sandwich with like chips or whatever, and it's like, it's not that great, I'm just like, whatever, I don't care.
It's like, that's fine too. Yeah. You brought so many gifts, dude.
I almost broke this. Open that.
What do you mean broke it?
I almost dropped it off the table.
It's a small package wrapped in a brown bag with a piece of tape on it. So.
Shout out North Side Cutlery. Not Northwest Cutlery. North Side Cutlery. Yeah.
You got me something?
It's super cute, yeah.
Oh, it's cute?
I don't know what y'all use it for, but I feel like it's pretty,
really nice of you.
You could use it for a lot of things. Dude, shout out that place. If you need your knife sharpened, that place rules. They have a lot of, like, awesome gear, too. Dude, that's so cute, right?
It's adorable. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's a little creamer, obviously, like, porcelain and homemade, and then they did it with spots of, like, a cow on it. It's really cute. Dude, excuse me. Great gift.
Dude, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a ton of knickknacks, and I was like, oh yeah. Dude,
oh yeah,
she'll like this.
Yeah. No, this is not filmed in a studio. This is filmed in my.
Yeah. I'm a big collector of this stuff. I'm not a big knife collector, just because I like knives and stuff. They tend to be like very expensive.
Yeah, they do.
But I love collecting plates and just like little knickknacks.
Dude,
like
it is precious.
It's so adorable, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness. It deserves a little place of honor. Make sure we can see it next to our Doritos.
That's a cutie. Yeah.
That's a cutie. I was thinking about too. I mean, I don't always try to like draw the parallels to wine all the time, but I think it's interesting in the field of content creation because like. I like wine. I like lots of other things, and that's why I started doing this podcast too, because I think it's all connected. But like, you have done and worked for wine brands too, like on your page.
Like Break Sellers?
Yeah, you've like collaborated with people. Like, how do you think about wine in that context when like you're making content and like you have a brand like that and you're like, okay, like food and wine goes together, but like, you know, dare I say, like you're not. In your head, it's like, I'm not the wine expert, but I still need to like sell this or I need to be like excited about it. So like, how do you go about like incorporating
a lot of it is like them, they give you a lot of just like material and stuff.
Oh,
and
really?
I don't read it like verbatim, but like, I just read it in my own like voice, but a lot of it's just like, I'm being educated right there. You know, I don't know too much about wine, like, and I'll do like I'm curious what your take is, dude. It's like, dude, I'll order dessert wine and just like Riesling, and I'm just like, this is what I like. I don't care what I'm eating with it. Yeah, it's like, I think it's yummy.
You sound like a professional sommelier because like really? That's essentially what it all comes back to. It's like sweet things go well with food. Yeah, you know, like sweet wines go with food. Sweet wines go with all sorts of food, super savory, super spicy, and yes, dessert. But like all of the wine people I meet, you start with a sweet wine. You probably start with like a Moscato or a Barefoot or just like whatever you drank in college or like Stella Rosa. Yeah, totally. And then it's like, okay, I like this. Let's go on this journey. And they go on this journey and they try all these things and they're like, yeah, like this is interesting or I don't like this. And then they just all circle back to just being like, you know what? I just liked that sweet Riesling. Or honestly, I just like that Moscato. But maybe I drink Moscato d'Asti that's like $10 more. Yeah. As opposed to like the Barefoot Moscato. Yeah. But it's like, it's the same concept of like, I like Coke Zero. Yeah. I love Coke Zero. I like tea with honey. Like people like sweet things more than
Coffee with sugar and cream. Yeah.
Coffee with sugar and cream. Yeah. I think Americans kind of have a funny thing about being like not too sweet, you know, like they're like, oh, I want a cocktail, but don't make it too sweet. Or like, I like wine, but I don't like sweet wine. But it's like, I think you do.
Yeah, I think everybody does. It's just like, it's like saying you don't like salt. It's like, what?
Well,
like,
it's like...
I also have a sweet tooth when it just like comes to things like that. So I don't really like, I'll drink old fashions and stuff, but like, I don't really like whiskey and things that are like too overly herbal.
Yeah.
Oh, beer's a good one. I do not like beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like too bitter for me. Like I get it. And so much of it tastes like the same to me.
You don't think it's refreshing? Like sometimes I think beer is refreshing.
like carbonation, but I'll drink like some sours, which I think like beer people make fun of, but it's like, I feel like it's kind of a gateway into it, but I just don't like, maybe it's like the hops flavor. I don't do well with bitter. Yeah.
What about like even just like High Life or like a Modelo or something, just like a Pilsner, like something really easy? Nah, not for you.
I can tell the difference between like that and an IPA. Like I drink an IPA and I'm just like, oh my God, that was nasty. Yeah.
I feel the same way. I don't know how, I mean, it's just not my taste. I just don't know how people do it. I'm like, man, this is kind of rough to get through. I'm not enjoying
I'll
this.
drink it too, but I also like, I like my beverages like super cold, like iced down, you know? So like if I drink a beer and stuff, like, if you're hot and sweaty, like it'll hit the spot. But I'd rather drink like a cider or like if I can, like, there was this drink we did at Amaru. That was a restaurant that I helped my chef open up. He's like my chef mentor, like Rodolfo Quadros, awesome guy. They had this one drink. Do you know Mama Juana? I think it's like, is it Argentinian? I forget what it is. It's just a fortified wine.
Okay.
And that's what it is. But do you know Dave Odd?
No.
Forager guy. No. He's this like goofy like forager guy, and he's always bringing in random stuff. So like, cool. He would bring in garbage bags of like allspice leaves and like branches off like this tree that's like super aromatic. So it was just like red wine steeped with all these aromats, bunch of honey, and just like room temp, just like, oh my God.
That sounds good.
It was so good. It was like.
Is it cold or is it?
It's at room temp, but I would ice it down. Yeah.
That sounds super good.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I want to put it on ice and drink it on a hot day outside. That sounds
so
awesome.
Good. Yeah, it's like, it's not fruity like sangria, but like I feel like you could take that in any direction.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I've loved it, dude. Yeah, I would drink that.
What restaurant was
all
that?
the time. Amaru, Amaru. It's in Wicker Park.
Oh, it's on North Avenue right there?
I think it is on North. Yeah. It's,
by Peace Pizza?
Dude, yep, right across the street from Paradise Park.
The old Paradise Park.
Dude, Paradise. Oh my God, that place was, I don't know if it's still jumping anymore, but like, dude, that place was so busy all the time. Dude.
Yeah, it's rowdy. People like it.
It's cool. I like seeing people have fun, you know? It's like, I like themed places too, and it's like, that's not where I would go. Yeah. But like, I like that. I'm like old in particular. I like to sit down at bars. Sure. You know, so like.
You like a themed place. Like kind of.
Rainforest Cafe, Olive Garden, Red Law. I love those places, dude. They're so fun.
You would put Olive Garden next to Rainforest Cafe in that situation as like a theme. Like when I think of a theme, I'm like, for sure Rainforest Cafe. Like it has to be kind of ridiculous.
When my mom visited, like from Japan, she had never really been to like a city before. So she's never really kind of like explored America either. And I was like, we're gonna go to Olive Garden, Red Lobster.
You brought.
She loved it. Yeah.
You brought your mom from Japan to Olive Garden.
Yeah. Well, we were in Memphis, so like our options were limited, and it's like there's so much stuff like that would just go above her head, and I get it. Like if I took her to a place that's not like we took her to a steakhouse and stuff, but maybe even like Lula, I think it would go like I think new American food would go like over her head. Yeah. Because she's just like, she has nothing to like, no perspective yet, you know?
Well, I mean, did she like Olive Garden?
Yeah, she loved it.
Really? What did she get?
She got the Taste of Italy or something. That wasn't that great, but my girlfriend Tina had ordered some like, some tortellini with like 4 cheese or something. That was actually really good.
I just think it would that would kill someone.
Yeah.
Like to fucking taste of Italy.
I feel like a lot of those places, the main issue is just like a lack of salt. And it's like they have salt and pepper shakers on the table. And it's just like, yeah, I'll season my own food. I don't care.
For sure. And I think, I don't know if they do that on purpose, but like
Probably.
Just
yeah.
under season it, worst case scenario. Because
Yeah.
when you over season it, of course, it's unedible.
Yeah.
But like, dude, that's so funny.
And it's just like, it's Olive Garden. I don't expect everything to be like on point.
No,
And
I mean,
just like,
yeah,
whatever.
like the breadsticks are from the breadstick factory.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
taste that. It's like tastes like margarine.
I
And you're
love
like,
their salad.
Yeah,
So
the salad is good,
dude.
The chicken Alfredo also very good.
Yes.
I get it. Some things are just okay. I feel like any
100%,
any of the like tomato sauces, I'm sort of like, I can taste like how overcooked these
They
noodles
had
are.
really good like breaded chicken. I don't know
really?
if it was the one used for chicken parmesan, but it was like weirdly good, like weirdly moist, weirdly crunchy,
Sure.
slightly sweet. Like they added some like Maria cookies or something to like the breadcrumbs, maybe like 20-25%. I've seen that move before. They used to do it at Fat Rice. Their like bone-in pork chop was half panko, half Maria cookies, and it was
What are the Maria
so good.
cookies?
They're like, I'll show you a
Show
picture.
me a picture.
Yeah, they're like Mexican.
I'll put it in post.
Mexican cookies, yeah. Maria cookies. They come in like, Goya makes them too. Hold on, bro. I'm looking for the orange package, dude. What the heck? What do you call these? Like biscuit cookies?
Yeah, they're almost like digestives.
Tea biscuits?
Yeah, like tea biscuits. They're like digestives or whatever. Oh, they're called Marie cookies.
So good.
Dude,
yeah.
That's what's up.
And yeah, Goya makes them. There's another brand. It comes in like an orange package.
But they would use that as the coating on a pork chop.
Yeah, like I guess some people use Ritz too. I've never tried it. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds so good.
That sounds like a Midwest grandma.
But yeah, it had some like sweetness to it without being like too sweet.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I was like,
awesome.
dude, that was epic. That was awesome. And I love seeing food like that. I'm just like,
Yeah.
why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
It's so good.
So clever. Mm-hmm. What's your death row meal?
Death row meal. If I could go back to Au Cheval for the first time again and experience that burger, it's got to have bacon. Their bacon's so good. It doesn't need to have the egg. But if I could have that, their fries with the garlic aioli. Can I just order everything off that menu? Yeah. Oh, man. I went when they would still open till like 2 a.m., I think, maybe 1 a.m. Now they close at like 10. Mm-hmm. The General Tso's chicken's epic. Bone marrow and toast. But that burger, that was the first awesome burger. Like epic burger. I think it's still probably my favorite. Although I've had burgers like comparable to it. Loyalist Burger's awesome. Ludlow Liquors does awesome burgers. There's a pop-up, what's it called? Hibarito Smash, I think is the name. Okay. Yeah, they used to be at, I think they might have a brick and mortar now, but they were at Spilt Milk Tavern for a little bit, working with Umami Q. They had like a pop-up, but that was awesome. Mott Street Burger's fantastic. Yeah. Every burger is just like
so good.
The burger scene here is the best in the country.
Dang.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah.
But if I could eat that Au Cheval burger for the first time, that was also one of the first restaurants I ever ate at in Chicago.
Really?
Ever. It was Sunwa Barbecue.
Nice.
Awesome. Such a cool experience. Au Cheval, that blew my mind, dude. Yeah. And the vibes are so cool in there. And then what else did I have after that? Al's Beef, I think. That was like my intro to like downtown like Chicago food. But Au Cheval's like a very nice restaurant. Hogsalt Group, like their restaurants kill. They slay. You know?
They do a good job.
But so it was a mix of like my first like epic burger and just really like elevated food. Yeah. Yeah, and I was just like, if I could experience that for the first time again, that'd be super sick. But
that's a good
if
one.
it wasn't that, it'd just be like Korean barbecue with a bowl of rice. Pretty simple.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, just like
something satisfying like that.
Some short rib. Yeah, dude, and bowl of rice, dude. Yeah, that's all. That's what I eat at home. I just eat like steak and rice. Yeah. Like maybe some sauce, but it's like whatever.
Yeah, it's just like simple and easy.
Super duper simple.
You can make like a really easy green on the side too.
Yeah, and it's like I'm very much about like, I want to respect people's time, especially like home cooks. People who have families and stuff, it's like, dude, never make a beef Wellington in your life, dude.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
It's okay. Like, a good beef Wellington is good, but it's like, dude, there's so much more like low effort, high reward things you could make.
Like
you
what?
know? Steak is a great one. Anything grilled. You can grill anything. Like, it's awesome. Bacon and rice, it's a weird thing, like weird American Japanese fusion thing I ate, but that's awesome.
Like
anything from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bacon and rice, like, am I cooking bacon in a skillet and then putting rice in it, like almost I'm frying it, or like what's the move here?
However you like to.
I like to put it like in the oven for my bacon.
That's what I do because I'm cooking like 2 packs at a time.
Totally, just like on the sheet.
Yeah,
and just make it super
that's the best way to cook bacon in the oven.
Just like chop it up and put it in rice.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you do it in the skillet, you have to like stand there and you're like flipping it, and it's so uneven, which I'm fine with. I actually like different like textures of bacon, but yeah, it's just that. And I don't know what it is about. Like, it just elevates the rice and the rice elevates the bacon. It's just like, I don't know what it is about like white sticky rice. There's like some hidden like MSG in there that's like unlocked when you eat food with it.
Yeah, it feels like primal. Like you eat it and you're just like, it just hits everything. And then like a rice bowl where it's like you have some protein and then like a little bit of veg or a little bit of pickle or something. And I'm like, that's it.
There's a lot of content creators I watch. There's one going viral. I forget his name. I think his name's Logan something. Super cool, but he does the cucumber thing. Yeah. You've seen it? Yeah. And I was just like, he's just like, I think the original one was just like soy sauce, like sesame oil. And I'm just like, that's how people should be cooking. Totally. Like at home. It's just like, you don't have to think about it. So many people like get stressed out about like recipes and not having this and that, and it's just like it's kind of just throwing stuff together. Dude.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's like, is he Korean?
I don't know. He's been famous for a while.
For cooking Korean food and being like, I think make it like my grandma.
Visited there a bunch of times. Dude, it's really funny. That trend's like popping off like crazy.
I just saw a New York Times article about it.
Dude, good for him because it like blew up. Dude, there was a funny one. Did you see the one where he's in like He does like that thing. So what he does is he has a quart container and he's like mandolining like cucumbers and then he adds stuff. But he's like, sometimes you need to eat a whole cucumber or something. But there's one where he's in like a lake and he's doing it, and I was like, that is so freaking funny. But
he's in a lake with a mandolin and a
he's like swimming, dude. And I'm just like, that's actually really funny play on like his own video. But
good for him.
That video's just been blowing up, and I like seeing that. It's like I like seeing how normal people cook, because like there's a lot of pretense in the industry, and it's just like it has to be like this way. I won't name any like creators, but the people know who they are, and it's just bro, relax.
Yeah,
like, dude, it's fucking fried chicken. It doesn't need to have like yuzu ranch and like yuzu kosho and like the marinade and stuff. I'm sure it's cool and great, but it's like, you know, especially if you want normal people to like replicate that food. Yeah, it's just like, dude, why are you making it so complex? You know,
for sure.
Thomas Keller fried chicken recipe, epic. It's so good. It's just like a rosemary lemon brine, super simple.
Nice.
Like a lot of seasoning in the dredge, and that's it, dude. It's insane how good it is.
For sure.
But for simple food, I'd say the Roman pastas, cacio e pepe, aglio e olio.
No one.
Aglio e olio.
I'm always scared to say it. Yeah. I'm always gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
Aglio e olio.
They're great. They like come together super quick. You want to do it with dry pasta. Mm-hmm. They're all just like 7 ingredient items. Cacio e pepe is like 4 ingredients. Yeah. They're like some of the best dishes. They're like iconic for a reason. Yeah. And it teaches you a lot about just like food and flavor profiles. Be like, wow, like I didn't know like cheese and a ton of black pepper is like a god tier like flavor combo, or olive oil, parsley, red chili flakes, and garlic. Like it's magical. Like you really want to like study those recipes because they're iconic for a reason.
Yeah. So that would be like, if I wanted to start to learn cooking, I would learn that kind of cuisine first.
I feel like they're just pretty easy, like low prep time, super good. Yeah. Just cook traditional stuff. Yeah. I would say, and YouTube's a great platform for that. Like, Basics with Babish. That's a great series. He's a great dude, and 2, he puts in like a lot lot of time, dude. Yeah, I mean, get it, dude. Yeah,
they're good. These little sticky things.
Good texture.
I keep coming back to them. They're good.
Yeah.
Anyone else you'd recommend for like beginners?
Brian Lagerstrom, he's great. He does a lot of like bread stuff too. And his food, they're just like good. They're like very educational, but they're like fun and chill. And they're very like compact. They're very well organized. Ethan Chlebowski's awesome, but he's a lot more like food science stuff now. I love watching his videos. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, he's a little like Elton Brownie, right?
Yeah, and he's a YouTube OG now. Yeah. Dude, shout out Adam Witt, dude, Omnivorous Adam. He's great, dude. Like he does a lot of super cool stuff and short form stuff as well. So. And
he's local Chicago guy, really nice.
Yep.
I got with that last one, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. You said it was not spicy. No, you did say it was spicy.
I said
just wrong pipe, right? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for standing up for me. I appreciate it.
It happens. I'll do it with water.
Yeah.
Oh my
thanks.
God, yeah.
You're a good guy. I appreciate it. But yeah, Adam is a good guy for sure. I'll have to get him on here at some point too.
Yeah,
he works hard.
He works so hard, man. It's crazy. I respect that. Yeah. I don't have that type of energy. Yeah.
No.
I like my naps, and I like smoking and just like watching random YouTube videos.
And maybe SpongeBob.
Little SpongeBob, dude. Yeah. SpongeBob. Do you know Nanaland? It's like a kid's show. Yeah, it's like that green puppet, dude. I'll watch that sometimes.
You watch Nanaland?
My girlfriend and I think it's like the cutest, funniest thing, and it's a funny show.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually just like we watch a lot of just like ASMR. Japanese like restaurant videos of just a lot of bakery stuff.
Corinne and I will watch those too.
Oh like my God, they're the
either
best.
The Japanese or the Korean restaurant where they do the setup and it's the prep.
It's so fun, dude.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Would you ever open a restaurant? Is that on the goals list for you?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I like people a lot, and I always wanted to I've always enjoyed teaching people, and I think it I went to just a community college for culinary school. They had a culinary program, but kind of hated high school. Just the format of high school, I really disliked it. But college, especially the cooking ones, I really liked all my professors, all the teachers there, and I've always liked teaching food because it's just super fun, and I feel like you can actually. Use the knowledge to give back to people and help them with a career. Maybe they don't know what they like to do. That's what I was doing as a kid. I was I don't know, I don't want to go to college. I don't know what I want to do, but going to this community college culinary program, super low risk, super cheap. That was fun, and that was kind of an awakening for me. Cool. I just liked, and it wasn't even so much food. It was just the atmosphere and being able to work hard. And I think restaurants are very much a meritocracy. Is that the term? You're rewarded for your hard work, for sure. Yeah. I think so in the future. I just don't know. I don't know how people do it. I don't have kids yet, but that's probably the next step. And then I don't know how people manage restaurants with kids. And stuff.
I think it's probably so hard.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
I think of Beverly, Kim, and Johnny of Parachute here. And Beverly Kim's always been a huge advocate for mothers and hospitality and raising children and working. Yeah. I think it's really challenging.
It's crazy.
Dude. I mean, what would be the plan for you? Have a little more security with YouTube and just financially, and then figure it out from there. I couldn't have a
restaurant that needed to generate a ton of profit, and that wouldn't be my retirement plan. But hopefully, man, I keep hustling at this YouTube thing and invest that money, and then over the course of 20, 30 years, that compound interest, I actually have something stable and stuff. But I think I'd like to be a stay-at-home dad before. I don't know, because I'd also I think it's really cool when people bring their kids to work and stuff. But yeah, I feel it's also complex, and there's really no answer to it, right answer. You kind of just make it happen. I feel that's what a lot of having kids is. You try your best and you make it happen. You learn along the way, and I also don't know where I'd want a restaurant. I think Japan, but also I would miss all my friends here in Chicago and just the U.S. I would just miss all my friends. But maybe Mexico City. But I don't do well with hot weather.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I'm a baby when it comes to that. So
Yeah.
because that would be cool. Then like my friends could come visit, and it's like super low risk for them. Be like, hey, you can stay at like my apartment or whatever, and we'll go like eat around. It's cool because it's like when like your chef buddies come from a different city, but like on crack. Because it's like a total like culture shock for them. So
Right.
I don't know what the plan is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about it, and there's stuff I want, but it needs to make sense like financially and timeline wise. Because I know Tina and I are gonna go live in Japan for at least a year, and then I assume like by then, like by the time we're like 35 or something, we'll have like a kid or something. I think kids are awesome, and I feel like, dude, who there's a bunch of like reasons to not have kids, you know, which makes so much sense. And I think I used to always be in that camp, but there's this one woman I was listening to on a podcast, and she was explaining like why she wanted kids, and it was just like, that's like gives you the whole like life experience. Like that is not like the be all end all, but it's like you have this person that you love more than yourself, and like you need to like protect them and teach them and like nourish them and like watch them grow into like a different person. And I feel like, yeah, that's like the ultimate thing you can do. It's like just have that person. I guess it doesn't necessarily need to be a kid. You know, you get a little bit of it with like a dog and like pets and stuff, and in your friends as well. But I think having a kid would be cool. Super scary too.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
oh my God, like if they fall and like scrape their knee, I'd probably be like super overprotective like parent. But yeah.
Did you always like have an inclination that you wanted to be a dad, or did it kind of come with meeting the person,
Just
or
like
just
people,
getting older?
kids are funny. Dogs are super funny. They're
Yeah.
just like fascinating people before like, especially before like that like consciousness kicks in and you become like a little too self-aware, a little too self-conscious and things like that. People are fascinating. Like, yeah, people are just super, like how they came to be. People are just the most fascinating. The human mind, I think, is the most fascinating thing. Like there's so much of like consciousness that science doesn't understand yet, you know, and maybe like we'll never understand, who knows.
Yeah.
But I feel like people are just awesome. People are super fascinating. My dogs are like all dogs are fascinating.
Sure.
It's like what's going on in their brain.
Yeah.
And like why do they do like the things they do, and it's I've always thought like they're adorable and stuff.
And like maybe a kid is another way of exploring that for you.
I think so. Yeah. It's like something, you know, I have to think about. Yeah, like give it a bunch more thought before I just like have this kid, but like to have a bit more financial stability before that. But yeah. What about you?
We've talked about it, certainly. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a little more complicated for us because it's just like, you know, we really have to plan it.
Yeah.
And being like, and you have to think about I don't know, like you talked about people just figure it out, right?
Yeah.
But people usually figure it out sometimes because they're just thrust into that situation.
100%,
and you're like, okay, like we're pregnant. What do we do? And then you have the conversation. For me and Corinne, it's more like, okay, like, do we really want this? And then we start a process. Like, not saying that everyone starts a family, like, you know, by accident. Yeah. But I just think there's a little more to think about. And I don't know. I like kids, but I've always felt a little lukewarm about having kids.
100%, yeah.
Corinne also feels similarly. And Corinne comes from a big family. She's one of 5 girls. And like, I think she liked having like a big family growing up, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of amazing nieces and like people like that who make us happy. But I don't think it's for us. 100%. I don't think it's for us. And that's totally fine. But I think it's sweet. I don't know. And I think it's sweet in particular when men are like, I want a baby. And I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's really...
Dude, all like dudes turn into sweethearts, especially if they have a daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
my aunt and uncle, I lived with them in college, and they're older now. They're like, I think they're both in their 40s.
Yeah.
They chose not to have kids and stuff. And it's like, I see the advantages and things like that. And they're more than happy, like, not having kids.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You get to focus a little bit more on yourself and stuff. So it's important for me to have like financial stability, and usually that means like you have like the privilege of time, you know, like I think that's the point of money, is to like buy yourself more time or time off, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And
it gives you the freedom to do that.
Yeah, like I want them to go to school and things like that, but it's like I also want to like hang out with them a lot, especially like when they're younger and before they like start to not like you, you know?
As they turn into teenagers.
Yeah,
It's just how it goes.
Yeah. But it's like there's a lot of stuff you have to like maybe not have completely figured out, but have a good idea, like have a good base of like, okay, this is how I want my life to be. And also, you know, like I want my girlfriend Tina, she's a dietitian at university right now. It's like we're both like kind of career minded, because it's like, yeah, we want to be like stable and stuff, and I want her to have like a good time, like be able to enjoy like her youth, you know, and like we'll just enjoy it like the rest of our youth before like bodies start decomposing and stuff like that, you
Certainly.
know? Yeah.
Sure.
Like we both love dogs, like we both love animals and stuff, and like, yeah, dude, that's like the most fun. I don't like I go out and stuff like that. I'd rather hang out with my dogs most days. Yeah.
You're kind of a
or like
homebody in general.
Yeah.
I feel like you thrive in both.
If it's not food, then yeah.
Fair.
Like I don't really like like cocktail bars. I like to sit down. Like I'm not a fan of like going up to the bar and like ordering things like that. I like to like have a server and stuff. Sure. And I like people, but like I love people, but I'd rather have like a smaller group of people, or just be surrounded with like people I know.
Yeah.
And like I know are gonna get along with each other. Like the other night, I was just like, oh, these are all like super good dudes.
Yeah.
Like everyone's super nice.
Yeah.
Like easy to get along with.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I like being at home because I just like thinking about stuff and relaxing, and I feel like that's one thing I didn't get too much in the industry, like just being able to like rest. And like that's a concept like that I could have been better at, you know, like sleeping more, not going out as much and everything like that. But like now I get to do it a lot, and it's just like, okay, this is like too much sleep, and this is too much like not doing anything time, you know, and this is like the appropriate amount to work, which is all like tricky, and I'm all still figuring it out and whatnot. But yeah, for sure. Well, I'm blessed. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but your career is so like transient, or there's no rule book for how this is supposed to work out. Yeah. So it's like you kind of just have to figure it out as you go.
100%.
So it's like, and then you start in hospitality, which is already chaotic and not a great balance. And then you do YouTube, which is like, people are still figuring out. I mean, it's definitely a career, but it's a newer career. So it's like, what does that look like? People don't really know. Or there's no like guidebook really for people just share information and just hope it works.
Yeah, I really fit into the industry because I think I was okay with like grinding away, finding a purpose. Like working in restaurants gave me like a ton of purpose and like direction, because I was just like, I found out I really like to work. I just like to work, and I was okay with like the super long days and low pay. I also work like 2 jobs a lot, so like I had a little bit more money than like your average cook, but that was also nice because I could like see almost like double the amount of things. And like, you know, like you work at one restaurant too long, you get like a little bit antsy, and like some people start to like irritate you or something, and then like your other job is just like you're a bit more happy there, and then next week it's like the other way around. So that was like nice to have that. But
switch it up a bit.
Yeah. And Chicago's great for that. There's like an infinite amount of restaurants you can work at.
There's so many.
Yeah, and so many good ones, like so many great ones too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to do that while you're young and you don't really have any like responsibilities. Yeah. It's just like, oh, I can goof around and like I can
figure it out.
Yeah.
You have a brother, right? Mm-hmm. He does your editing for your videos.
He does it's kind of part time. It's like low lift because it's all just like short form.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any other siblings?
I have a half sister who lives in Japan.
Got it.
She's 14 now. I met her for the first time. Like I found out of her existence when she was 8 years old, because I was going to like visit Japan, and my mom's like, I don't think she told me because she thought I'd be like upset.
Yeah.
Because she like remarried and stuff, and I was like, what? Like, why would I care? I get why people would care, but it's just like, yeah, you got to like live your life and stuff. So I saw her when she was 8. She was super tiny. Now she's 13 and like a total teenager, like moody and stuff, but she's still really funny. Yeah. And her English has gotten super good. I wanted her to come to the U.S., visit New York, but maybe next year. But it's always down, and I'm just like, yeah, come over. I'll pay for everything. Like, just have a good time. Like, experience it, you know? Because my mom's funny. She's like, she grew up in Tokyo too. So the culture shock that I have over there, she's like, Tokyo's boring to me. Like, Japanese stuff is like boring to me, but like in New York, you know, like seeing all the garbage everywhere. Yeah. Dude, New York's such a dirty city. Like, I love it. I love like the grunge and stuff, but it's just like, it's so many rats everywhere. Yeah, it's all constantly smells like weed. Yeah. But she like thought the garbage was hilarious, all the stickers on like dumpsters, and I was like, that actually is like really funny and like very unique to like almost New York. And I was just like, yeah, seeing all that. But yeah, my sister, I wanna hang out with her. Yeah. Where's your dad? Where's he from? Yeah. We all grew up in like McHenry area. Okay. So that's northwest suburbs. Island Lake is the specific town we lived in, but we went to McHenry High School. Yeah. And we moved to Alabama for a little bit. My dad got a house there. So from 8th grade to like the end of sophomore year, I lived in 2 different cities in Alabama, like a big neighborhood of Birmingham, and then like the Boondocks. Okay. Which was, I really liked the Boondocks. People were just super nice, but it was like everyone didn't ride the same bus. There were more kids than that, but like everyone on our path, like the bus on our path picked up kids from like all the grades. Yeah. You know, yeah, and I don't know, 60 people in my graduating class or something like that. Really small. Yeah. But it was like super awesome. You liked it? I loved it because I hated the other town. Okay. Because it was very like bougie and like you saw like the income discrepancy. Like I lived in, I just hated it. A lot of like, it was super preppy. I was just like, yeah, people are like not nice here, man. Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like that is a stronger divide in the South? Like, do you see more of that, like, or is it just maybe where you kind of see it everywhere? Yeah. Outside of Chicago, you'll see it too. Like Chicago is kind of like this, like some people maybe would call it like a metropolis, but you see it in Chicago too. But even outside of Chicago, you go like an hour and a half outside, like where I grew up, like, yeah, it was like easily like blatant racism and stuff, which, I wouldn't say it's good, but like none of it was really directed towards me, but like just like gives you a little bit tougher skin, you know? But I was like, yeah, there was like 2 Asian kids, 2 black kids, like 2 handfuls of Mexican, and then it was like predominantly white. But then when I moved to Alabama, it was like almost half and half, you know? So it's good seeing all that perspective, and it's like, yeah, like people just develop. Hi, kitty. Yeah, people will kind of just like grow up and turn into the person that like their parents or their grandparents were, like whatever their city is. So like it's like brainwashing's not the right term, but a lot of like their beliefs and stuff is just whatever they grew up with. Yeah. You know, and you can unlearn that. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. It's interesting though, like perspective I think is the biggest thing. Like going to Thailand was crazy. Going to Japan, super crazy. Surprisingly, I've never made it to Canada or Mexico City. I want to go to like Montreal so bad. Yeah, for sure. I heard the food cool seems city. So awesome. It's a cool city. Yeah, I heard it's super pretty there. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. It seems to be an underlying thing of what kind of drives you too, is like just experiencing these new perspectives and just like seeing for yourself and just seeing like, yeah, you can't control where you grew up, obviously. So it's like that some things just happen to you that way. But then now it's like, okay, I'm older. I have some money. I'm just going to see for myself. Yeah, 100%. And then that's why I like staging in restaurants too, and like seeing how different chefs work. I've never met Jason Hamill. He has a great reputation, though. Yeah. Andrew Zimmerman, who owns CP and Proxy, great reputation. For Joe Flam has maybe the best reputation. A lot of it's because he's like one of the most like public facing like chefs.
Yeah, and you won
know?
the Top Chef, and
Yeah.
people really liked that. I mean, so didn't Stephanie Izard also win Top Chef too?
I think she was the first female chef to ever win.
I mean, yeah, we got some Chicago darlings for sure.
Yeah,
that people like to gas up.
Darlings, that's a great that's a great term, because we're not like, there's plenty of like Chicago restaurant drama.
Yeah, sure, and of course, yeah, that's always gonna be, it's part of every culture. But,
yeah, and I've also worked in like some pretty like intense kitchens. Some of it like you understand, and some of it's just like, all right, this is like a little bit.
You were at Alinea, right?
Just for a little bit, yeah. And like a lot of that, like I understood. I wasn't a cook, by the way. I was in front of the house. I just like ran. Okay. Yeah, I just ran food, because that's how they did. Like apparently, like you have to be a food runner before like you work as a cook, which I don't think was true. They just were understaffed, which is fine. But I was in the kitchen. Like most of my time was spent in the kitchen, just like watching cooks and stuff. And yeah, they have a pretty like gnarly reputation for just like doing whatever needs to be done. Like get it, like make it happen, chef, you know? Just, like, dude, that's crazy. Yeah. So they kind of have like a bad rap for that, but a lot of it is necessary to do what they do. Not that it's okay. But and a lot of it was like kind of fair from the like the top chefs and stuff. They weren't like, they were intense, but they weren't mean for no reason. And like outside of it, they were nice. Like I never had a full on conversation with like Mike Begale or like Grant, but like yeah, I would like be in their office like all the time. And they were like chill, you know, like they were nice. But yeah, and I also think fear is sadly a great motivator, you know, like ruling with like fear is hyper effective, which, you know, it's not great, but like you can't deny the fact that it's hyper effective. Shame is like such a, I don't know if motivator is like the right term. Motivation's kind of like a positive term, but yeah, you know where I'm going.
Oh yeah. I mean, did you see the Charlie Trotter documentary?
Oh yeah. That dude's intense, yeah.
I mean, he was all about that too, and it was interesting to see that he wasn't always like that. Yeah. You know, like seemed like a pretty like nice, easygoing guy, like in college, and then it wasn't until he opened up Charlie Trotter's, you know, famous Chicago chef guy, and then it flips, and so it's like, you know, there's a lot of ways to manage a team.
100%.
And I think in restaurant world, it's always, you know, we think about the OGs like Escoffier. You know, Escoffier was a man in France who worked for the French military. And then after he stopped working in the military, he opened up a kitchen. And then so that's where this brigade system comes from. It's where the hierarchy comes from of like, I'm going to treat the kitchen like the military.
Oh, interesting.
And then so that's why there's the hierarchy. That's why you start from the bottom, work your way up. And so it's very much ingrained in restaurant culture that like that sort of same militaristic idea of like, there is a little bit of fear with it. There is a little bit of sometimes shame with it. And because psychologically, yes, this is what driven people to be better, is to work out of adverse situations. Yeah. I think as it's 2024, and we see that restaurants are more like businesses, and we would never expect or hope that big corporations would also treat people, maybe they do it behind closed doors, I can't speak for that, but like there needs to be a bit more decorum. And I'm a pretty big believer in this too. Like I don't love that aspect. I understand that it's effective, but like we should be better. Yeah. Like chefs should know how to manage a team, and they should go to school or go through some sort of programming to be like, yeah, you now own a business. You are now a leader, whether you want to be or not. You also have to lead not just back of house, but like if you're the chef owner, you should also manage front of house a little bit too, or at least hire someone who like, you know, 100% that you can trust. But I think that needs to be more, I think this is what the culture is pushing for. And I think this is what the Bear is, you know, critiquing, hopefully. Yeah. Not just for just
I don't know if it's critiquing or not, dude. It's interesting.
I hope it is. I hope people see that. Yeah. Like, because it's bad.
It's a great show, great acting. Like, shout out Maddie Matheson. His character's so good.
He just plays him, which is
yeah,
like funny
it's so
too.
funny, dude.
Yeah.
Tina is such a great character. Cousin, awesome. But yeah, I talked to my girlfriend Tina, and I'm just like, dude, this like Carmi's kind of a scrub, dude. Like he like
he's an asshole for
yeah,
sure. There's no doubt about it.
There's like I guess he could like, you know, get away with it, but it was like, dude, like there's no way someone this like as good as cooking as he's supposed to be in the show like is that bad at managing people. I'm just like, dude, there's like being mean, and then there's just like freaking out because like you don't have like anything under control, and it's just like obviously like that's the type of show it is, and like that's the like even in the pacing and the editing, it's very like fast and like intense, you know. But I was just like, dude, this dude would be a scrub in Chicago, you know, like I feel like all you kind of need, like all you need to open a restaurant is a butt ton of money, you know? But like if you have a ton of money, you can open up a restaurant, you know? But I was just like, dude, there's so much more talented people who are like actually very good at running a kitchen and like being a mentor and teacher and things like that. And it sounds like that's what the squad at Lula is like, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of like people who are leaders or like want to be leaders, you know, like a good team there. And I saw that at Sepia. I was just like, these dudes are awesome, and they're making very high level like food,
great food,
you know. But it's chill. They're listening to music and like cracking jokes all day, and I was just like,
you can do it in an effective way that is just you're just communicating, and you're just talking with people, and you know, sometimes you hire people and it doesn't work out, you know, or like maybe they're just not a fit, but it's just more of a conversation than necessarily like, this is chef, yes, chef, whatever chef says we do. And then the chef will, you know, fire you if, you know, he doesn't, or they don't feel like that it's, that you're not good enough or whatever. It's like, it needs to be treated more like a business. And I just don't think it is always.
Yeah, I get it. Like I've managed a lot, and it's like, yeah, you know, you're not your best self. Like if you're stressed out, if you're sleep deprived, it's just like, it's pretty easy to like kind of become like not the nicest person.
Well, sure. But I mean, like, you know, I don't know, I worked as a nurse too, you know, and it's like nurses get their shit kicked in all the time. Crazy. And like, you know, sometimes nurses do get jaded and doctors do get jaded. And that's when you should leave, because you're actually taking care of someone and trying to save lives. But like, you know, there's a lot of people who are put in high stress situations that don't yell at
100%,
me, you know, and it's like, or don't throw a plate at the line cook. Like, that's insane.
I think a lot of that, comes from one experience, like being able to deal with stress and like being, like dealing with it day in, day out. And you're just like, oh, okay, that's like whatever. We've been here before. It's not like a big deal at all. Yeah. And a lot of like self-reflection. And I feel like a lot, whatever like your predisposition is, if you're just like a chill dude, you know, like you're probably not going to like do a 180 and flip into like a complete madman. Yeah. You know?
Well, Charlie Trotter did.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was the most interesting part. I'm like, this dude wasn't always like this. So like, what is it about either like the job or the environment that like changes someone to be like this? Like, is it really that high stress? And if that's the case, like, then how do you make it better? Like, Jason Hamill, I think he's, you know, I'm not gonna say an anomaly, because I think there are a lot of great chefs who are also leaders who are also doing great work, but like, you know, I see him come in, I don't work in the mornings, but like I see him come in, he checks things out, he writes some emails, he takes some food, he says hi to people. And he's out the door by like, you know, probably 8 or 9 most nights, which I'm like, that seems reasonable.
PM? Yeah. That's kind of long, honestly. Yeah.
Like, you don't have to stay till the very end. Like, you should, I don't know when he comes in. Maybe he comes in at noon some days. Later, you know, maybe he's only there a couple hours a day just to like check in and say hi. But like, he's got the balance now because he's been doing it for so long. I'm sure it wasn't always like that too. So it's like, how do we make it sustainable? I don't know the answer, but like, there's something about disposition. There is something about skill level, money. It's a combination that like I don't have the answer to, but I think it's interesting to talk about.
It's hyper complex, you know? Yeah. And then like you throw all that into like a stressful situation, you know? And also just having like great people, or like, because he has a lot of like proteges, like who own their own restaurants here in Chicago, you know, like.
Well, I think Loaf Lounge or maybe
Loaf
Chef
Lounge,
Special. Yeah.
Loaf Lounge, Chef Special, Giant. I never ate at Nightwood when they were open, but like a lot of people, ton of people like work there, and that was like a Jason Hamill restaurant. I think is Super Kana, kind of associated
like
with
a
him.
partner.
Yeah. And
or Jason's a partner with them, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so you need a lot of like. It's not like a one-man show. He needs a lot of people who like are also great leaders and mentors too. And it's fascinating, dude. It takes so much, you know. And it's the restaurant business is not necessarily like easy to scale, you know.
No,
there's certain places I see, small Cheval, it's like 1 billion of them, and I think they're all like demolishing, you know.
Yeah,
great concept.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree.
But to do like you can't really replicate like a Lula, you know.
No.
I feel like that's like a living, breathing organism. You know. Yeah.
No, I agree with that.
Which is cool. It has tons of personality, which is why I think it's like, you know, you should eat at Lula if you come to Chicago. Like, or like, I like Publican for that reason too. Also, their dining room's sick, dude. But it's like, this is Chicago food. It's just like,
it's all good.
This is like what Chicago food is, Chicago hospitality.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I love. There's so many restaurants here
that
I love. So many I still need to like eat at and explore and like hang out with like certain chefs and just like be in kitchens. Yeah, it's awesome. You know, I'm a little bit older now, not like that old. I'm 31, but it's like, you know, when I go into these kitchens, there's a lot of kids in their early 20s. You know, they're not like, the age difference isn't that big where I'm like, oh, you're like a kid, you know. It's just like, you know, but it's like, oh yeah, holy cow, dude, you're young, dude.
10 years ago. You know? It's like, okay,
I was like, that was me like 10 years ago. And then like there's so much talent, dude. I wish I worked at like, I started working when I was like 16, or like I started working at Blackbird when I was like 18 or something. Like you'd be like an absolute savage and stuff. But yeah, like I'm happy with like everything that's happened in my life. Even if I wasn't doing YouTube, I think I'd be like, you know, hopefully like I would be like a still fairly happy person.
I think you would be.
Yeah.
You got it in you.
I would have moved back to Chicago and just like worked at a restaurant. You'd just be working in a restaurant. Yeah. I love it, dude. Just find a chef that like I think is super cool. Yeah. And like gives me some autonomy and whatnot. I'd probably just try and work at like a bunch of places.
Different spots just
still,
to see what's up.
Like go to Oriole for a little bit.
Yeah, dude. You are hype man for Chicago. You're hype man for restaurants all over the world.
Chicago rules.
You're hype man for people, for perspectives. It's like, it's all, I think this is why like I get along with you and I like see what you're doing and I'm like, we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Chicago's awesome. People are awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
People are inherent. I mean, people are good, despite, you know, us thinking that they're not sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's just the way that news and media works. You know?
No, I get
if it bleeds, it leads. Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Well, is there anything you want to gas up before we close up? The SpongeBob movie ended, I don't even know how long ago. The credits rolled.
It's been that long?
I
Holy
guess.
cow.
I know. It's crazy.
I could talk forever with you. Yeah.
I know.
Ask me some questions. I don't have anything like specific.
No.
I don't want to shout out. Yeah.
No, it's all good. Just follow Senpai Kai on the old internet.
Yeah.
On the old YouTube pages.
Trying to think. Certain restaurants I'd like to shout out.
Yeah, you got any homies?
I feel like I've shouted out so many places already.
You've done above and beyond. I got to say, you're like this guy. You're jazzed. I love it.
There's a bunch of Chicago institutions you should eat at, dude. Birria Zaragoza, Carnitas Urupan, dude, Haisu. Like, I'm sure they're a busy restaurant, but they're in Pilsen, so like, it's a trek for a lot of people. Haisu's phenomenal.
The whole fish dish there is super good. That fried snapper that they do with all the accoutrement, it's so good. Delicious.
Go eat at Dansen. Dansen rules, dude. Garib Nawaz. I used to eat there so much, dude. Yeah. Nice, and there's so many places like that I haven't gotten to eat at, you know? Like Le Bouchon. I've never eaten there.
Oh,
I heard it's like epic.
It's great.
Yeah.
And it's run by two brothers.
It's not like a themed restaurant, but like it's French bistro, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, that's a theme. Like I very much like that. You know? It's like
they're legit.
It like transports you to like a time and a place. But
for sure.
Hold up, dude. Can I look at my notes real quick?
Yeah, look at your notes. Get in there.
Let me see.
Get in that notes app.
Let's see what Chicago restaurants. There's so many, dude. Dude, there's so many places, dude, that I haven't eaten at, dude. Haven't eaten at Perilla or Okonomi. I hear Duck Inn is awesome.
Okonomi, I thought that was New York.
It's right in the West Loop somewhere.
Oh, is it really?
Or right in Fulton Market
I wonder
somewhere.
what I'm thinking of. Yeah, okay.
I haven't had Lao Peng Yu in a while. They're great, dude.
They're great.
That too is really good.
Yes.
Everywhere. I'm pretty easy to impress, I feel like, I really want to eat at Flower Power and Lardon. I think they're both definitely going to happen. Let's see. I have Chicago recommendations, bro. Yeah. Great cocktail bars too, like everywhere. Like a lot of chill, like cocktail bars here.
Yeah, plenty.
I heard this on another podcast. I heard it's awesome. Ging Khao Eat Rice. I think it's Thai.
Ging Khao Eat Rice, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
super. I think it's a super casual like place. I've heard Andronis Tavern is awesome.
That place is nice.
Yeah. Hermosa, we got to eat there one day.
Oh, dude, yeah. That place rules.
Yeah, dude.
Whether you just do the lunch, like the Cambodian fried chicken sandwich is delish, but the dinner is also pretty.
I worked there for a minute, but Momotaro is awesome.
Yeah,
and the izakaya at Momotaro, like if you don't want to drop a bunch of money, izakaya is so cool, dude.
It's fun. It's a cool space.
I'm looking at this list. There's so many restaurants I need to eat at, dude.
Why don't you do like borderline influencer content? I'm just being like, dude, eat here, or I'm eating here. This place rules.
I have a lot of like content saved up, and I'm trying to figure out how to like package it.
Yeah.
Because when you're making content, the hook is so important. So I'm trying to figure out like what my hook should be, and I think the hook is going to be like, would you pay $18 for this sandwich? And I feel like that's a pretty decent hook.
People like a price hook.
Yeah, but I have so much like content. I'm just lazy, man. I need to like go through and edit like I have so much Chicago, Nashville, New York, so much Japan content, and they're in like hard drives that I don't even know where they are anymore.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Are there any restaurants you would recommend to me to
God.
I guess to stage/hang out at and just like eat at?
You should, this is the place I recommend kind of to everyone in this neighborhood because you're staying sort of nearby. Rootstock, it's always kind of classically been a wine bar, but the food has always been excellent. Yeah. And they have a great burger. People talk about the burger.
I've heard about it.
We can't help ourselves with Chicago and a good burger. But the food there is very seasonal, changes, I feel like, once a week, once every 2 weeks. I feel like there's always something different when I go there, and it's high quality. They use Schlegel Farms.
Schlegel's so good. Shout out Schlegel Farms.
Shout out Schlegel Farms. They rule. That's kind of always my go-to spot for people.
I know they were open during the same time like Cafe Marie Jean, but is it like kind of similar? Cafe Marie Jean
was really more like French.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like more of that decadence factor. And I feel like Rootstock, they only do dinner. That's also a big difference too. Rootstock I would almost call like more American.
Yeah.
And then, Marie Jean was a bit more French leaning.
Yeah.
Because
they're like right across the street from each other, or kind of?
Yeah, they're like kitty corner.
Yeah. I remember.
Oh, and Spinning Jay's right there too.
Spinning Jay.
That place was. Yeah.
Dude, there's so many good places, dude.
They have a good tuna melt if you like a tuna melt.
Tuna melt?
Dude, I love a tuna melt.
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah, you get some jardinera on the side.
Yeah.
That's my pro move. So
yeah,
it's good.
I'm a big bakery person. I feel like you get the best bang for your buck at bakeries.
Yes.
So Kasama has a great one. R.I.P. Fat Rice Bakery. That used to be my favorite. Dang. Trying to think. I haven't had his stuff, but Dan the Baker.
I haven't had his stuff either.
Yeah.
Yeah, people talking about
Emily Hotel in the West Loop.
Some
hotel.
That's
yeah.
Funny. They have a bakery that people like. That's interesting.
Yeah, I've heard he's killing it, dude.
You could even go to Chuquan.
Chuquan's awesome. QXY Dumpling in Chinatown. Apparently they're in Timeout Market now too. They have a stall in there. Yeah,
okay. Good for them.
Hopefully, yeah.
They're great.
Any place in Chinatown. Chai Cafe, dude.
Chai Cafe.
Late night, dude. Oh my God, I love Chai Cafe.
No, it's fun.
That place is a vibe, dude.
I went to, we were just in Chinatown. We went to Ajuma's Apron.
Whoa.
Which I had never been to, but it's right next to Nine Bar, which is a bar I really like there.
Sounds fancy.
Nine Bar is like cool. It kind of reminds me of like, you ever watch Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like I'm like space pirate, like drinking at a bar. It's like it's very cool. And then Ajuma's Apron right next door, really good. It was a super hot day, so we had what's the cold noodle dish? The buckwheat noodle dish.
It's Korean.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like nyamnyang or something.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get canceled for that. Yeah.
Please let me know.
Nyamnyang? I forget. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the buckwheat and kind of like the beef, the frozen-ish beef.
Yeah,
like
it comes
broth.
with ice cubes, and then you get the mustard sauce
awesome.
with it. Yeah. We had that, and then Corinne likes the kimchi jjigae. So,
everyone likes it.
The banchan there is nice. It's not a ton of it, but all of it is really good.
Those experiences are super fun. I took my buddy to Dansen, and it's so funny. He was my sous chef like a long time ago. So like, but there's still like so much food that like we haven't explored. But we had budo jjigae for the first time.
Nice.
And they bring it out on the butane burner. It's got like
fun.
the American cheese and the hot dogs, and it's just like, this is like awesome that you get to like show something like that to people. It's
so much fun.
It's so fun.
I think Korean food also. I think the banchan is the thing that really seals the deal for me. It's like this. I don't know. Like Corinne and I spent $37 at Ajuma's Apron for the two of us.
You were telling me about that.
And I was just like,
that's crazy.
I'm like, I thank you for charging me that much, but also like you could charge $20 more, and I would still feel like
those are the places I'm like, yeah, dude, this like tipping's a whole thing, but like the flat like 20% just like makes no sense so much of the time. But it's just like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna tip these people big. I want them to like thrive. You know? I want them to do good because I want to like keep eating here and like supporting
I want them to do well. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So
cool.
If it's super cheap, tip more than 20%.
That's true. If it's
like think dollars amount, because like 20% of that's what, $6, $7.
That seems
it's
mean.
Like, come on,
that
bro.
seems like a mean
like,
tip.
Yeah.
Just give them a $20 bill. I agree. I agree with that.
Chicago rules. We kind of met. No. We talked about it a lot, and you sent me some gifts. R.I.P. Lost Lake, man.
Oh, that's right. That's
R.I.P. I loved Lost Lake.
That is how we
so
first
much,
met, because I had followed you, and then you were like, "Does anyone live in Chicago?" Because
I heard they were closing.
Because I heard they were closing, and I want some merch, and I got you some merch, and I sent it to you. That's how this all started.
I got the glass.
I almost
My
forgot
girlfriend
that.
wears like the Lost Lake T-shirt,
That's cute.
dude.
Yeah, that's cute.
That was my vibe. Such good, like, fun food, chill vibes. The drinks. I'm a tiki like sucker. So.
Yeah, the drinks are fun for sure. No, it's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
I'm honored.
you, dude. No,
Yeah.
very cool. I'm happy you're here.